devastating hurricanes, unprecedented heat waves, catastrophic flooding. An upward trend of extreme weather and climate events is leading to significant losses across the globe. In the fight against climate change, no one is a bystander. China has pledged to peak the nation's CO2 emissions before 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. To shed light on the country's journey towards sustainable development, our reporters traveled across China to capture the stories of individuals, enterprises and public institutions who are striving to make a difference. As COP29, the UN Climate Change Conference, convenes from November the 11th to the 22nd in Azerbaijan, CGTN Radio brings you a special series, Greener China, A Journey to 2060. Join us on your favorite podcast platforms to witness Chinese people's awareness, actions and the challenges we face as the country journeys into a greener future.
It
used to be a mountain of mining dumps, with no trees or grass in sight.
Ecological conservation and restoration is required throughout the life cycle of all mining activities.
Hello, welcome to Climate Watch. I'm Yang Yang. As China intensified its effort to build a green, low-carbon economy, it has asked entities to prioritize environmental protection alongside resource extraction. Jinchang was established in the early 1980s in Gansu province with the development of a nickel mine in the Gobi Desert in northwest China. Li retired in the 1990s from the mine owner Jinchuan Group.
After retirement, I tried planting trees in my community. 4 years later, more retired colleagues joined me to plant trees.
And a forest came into being. It's early autumn. Rows of trees look like thousands of green umbrellas lined up along the city's western edge.
Back then, no one thought trees could grow on waste rocks.
What inspired you to plant trees here?
I wanted to shield residential areas from sandstorms.
Li's initiative nearly 3 decades ago was in accord with China's early efforts to restore degraded ecology. In the late 1970s, China launched the 3 North Shelter-Built Forest Program to battle against sandstorms and soil erosion. At the beginning of the new century, China's ecological restoration program started to expand beyond forest coverage. Wang Yongcai, general manager of the Mineral Resources Department of Jinchuan Group, told us that their restoration strategy entered a new stage in early 2000s.
Ecological conservation and restoration is required throughout the life cycle of all mining activities, from geological survey to mine closure.
Mining mainly affects the soil, vegetation, and local ecosystems, generating dumps that need to be carefully managed. China's mining industry has developed fast since the country's opening up in the late 1970s, accompanied with incidents of illegal mining and environment degradation. In 2009, the Chinese government called for green mine construction, emphasizing scientific and orderly mining practices, controlling ecological disturbances, and making efficient use of resources. Instead of simply piling up mine tailings like they did in the past, the mining company now handles them differently. As we stood at the backfilling district of Jinchuan Group, We saw fresh mine dumps being transported in several carriages on a track.
就是说，它就是下面要充填的时候，就是才这边破完，连同沙子那些，然后。
They will be smashed in the crushing station and then backfill the excavated pit with other mixtures like sand.
搅拌完了以后就直接往。
Chao Xianghui is a senior engineer of Jinchuan Group.
你看我现在矿山上的废石这块，我们大概就是分了几个。第一个。
About half of the mine waste is recycled this way. The rest is stacked and restored into the original appearance of the landscape, maintaining the original height and slope to prevent geological disasters like landslides.
整个废石堆藏的就是原始的。
原始
地貌。
Traveling through the mine site, you could see stretches of mountains with small, rugged patches of bush sparsely scattered. Some are terraced or in the process of being terraced. Those are artificial mountains made of waste rock. Those mountains are found in the Gobi Desert, where vegetation struggles to thrive. While in areas that are suitable for planting, developers are asked to restore the landscape 2 years after the mining companies take over for waste disposal. Yue Xuhui is in charge of ecological restoration at Meihua Jing Coal Mine in neighboring Ningxia Hui Autonomous Region.
80% of the coal refuse is reclaimed, and we grow local plant species like millet and clover, which can be distributed to local herders. It's a good opportunity to foster positive relationships with the community. The remaining refuse is repurposed as building materials and more. In arid and semi-arid regions like the places we visited in Gansu province, water, including wastewater, is used with care.
主要可能是就是缺水，就是说我们现在你看，我现在矿山上用的基本上是井下排出来的那个井下的废水。
The main problem is water. Right now, we are mostly using wastewater that gets pumped up from underground. We use it for irrigation after sedimentation.
The company is investing a lot to assist ecological recovery every year.
Jinchuan Group spent over 8 billion yuan, or over $1 billion from 2015 to 2020 on environmental improvements. They included waste management and wastewater and gas processing.
矿产企业这个履行主体责任，实现变开采变质量。
Zhao Wenbing from the city's Ecological Environment Department told us that mine developers pay for the damage they make to the environment and are required to restore affected areas. The local government provides funds for the restoration of historical mining sites. A research paper published on China Land, an official magazine, revealed that 300,000 hectares of historical mining sites have been restored since 2015. In the meantime, the government has enhanced its supervision over restoration projects. Nationwide ecological patrols have been carried out since 2016.
别开，那就别开，在下面的工作你就无法进行。
We conduct annual assessments and usually increase patrols to catch emerging issues before they escalate. For those who fail to meet the restoration standard, their production will be suspended.
Beyond merely following regulations, science-based approaches are also explored in ecological restoration. Hu Rei is a researcher at Northwest Institute of Eco-Environment and Resources under the Chinese Academy of Sciences.
We select native, drought-resistant plants and test different soil depths and water amounts for them to find the most efficient restoration methods.
From the 1970s until today, ecological restoration in China has evolved from the initial focus on dealing with specific ecological issues to a comprehensive approach with a focus on ecological integrity. Represented respectively by the 3 North Shelter Forest Program in the late 1970s and the Shanshui Initiative in 2016 to restore ecosystems from mountains to coastal estuaries. The most recent master plan for major national programs to protect and restore important ecosystems draws a blueprint spanning from 2021 to 2035. Dividing China into 7 crucial regions for ecological restoration, including the Qinghai-Xizang Plateau, the Yellow River Watershed, and the Yangtze River Watershed. Zhou Jingfeng is Secretary General of China Biodiversity Conservation and Green Development Foundation, a China-based NGO dedicated to sustainable development.
主要的解决的是各种生态问题，因为飞速发展，比如北京的雾霾，比如太湖的。
Our ecological efforts initially focus on addressing environmental issues like smog and sandstorm, but we have never stopped our pursuit of better development. Now, China's ecological restoration work is shifting towards promoting sustainable practices in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
In recent decades, China has seen a significant increase in forest resources. Additionally, the land affected by desertification has decreased, and 1,000 kilometers of coastline has been restored. However, despite the significant achievements, challenges remain.
要坚持以自然恢复为主，这个呢？
Nature-based solutions are needed in ecological restoration, but we're not doing enough in practice. Additionally, our efforts often focus on large-scale graining projects, and the success is measured more by investment scale rather than by the effectiveness of the ecological restoration itself.
Meanwhile, historical deficits and simplistic goals in some ecological projects have also been emphasized by China's most recent restoration instruction, the Master Plan for Major National Programs to Protect and Restore Important Ecosystems. The Master Plan also points out that water resources remain a critical issue in restoration work.
China is a developing country with a large population. Our development inevitably brings challenges to ecology.
For the challenges the country faces in its ecological restoration effort, tune in to the next episode of our program, Ecological Restoration, A Struggling Recovery.